لازم، بس مش ظاهرة إلي. هلا ظهرت.
ظهرت؟
هلا ظهرت. هيك صح.
اوكي ماشي الحال.
ظاهرة موجود.
Excuse me.
Yes please. Nora.
Yes, can I? From where we can buy the book?
انت مش شاريه الكتاب لليوم، يا حرام عليك. من
No.
المركز الدولي جنب الجامعه.
Yes, the last lecture we have on Hamlet, not on Othello, so we didn't buy it.
All right, but you have right يعني to get it. You don't have the text now?
No.
I have one from the internet, but I don't know if it is
Okay
the
then,
same.
if you can succeed with the one on the internet, I don't mind. Yani you can find lots of texts of Othello, right, online. So it is up to you. If you want to buy the book, okay, to me, I like books because I'm old time. Yani, when I feel the paper, I smell, write the paper. When I have a pencil and write on the pages, it makes me, it gives me a feeling that I read the book.
Yes.
But online,
Yes.
I'm not familiar with reading online because it takes a long time sitting in front of the monitor, and there is no interaction between me and the monitor exactly as I did with the paper.
Yes.
Anyways, we will start
Thank
today, and I'll make sure, right, that we are not going to whatever copy you use is going to be good. So in Act 1, Scene 1, line 6, which is the first page of the book, the first page of the actual play, play, right? We start with both Rodrigo. He is one of the friends of Iago, and Iago himself. Both they start talking. Rodrigo, by the way, he loves Desdemona, but from one side. Desdemona doesn't like him. He proposed to Desdemona, but he was rejected. And this is his weak point. And it is very well known to whom? It is very well known to Iago. And this is why Iago is going to use this weak point in order to make Rodrigo to serve his own purposes. And therefore, the act, this scene starts with both of them in order to know a kind of introduction, to know who are the characters and what is the major problem, right? So Rodrigo talks about Othello, and he tells, Iago, thou toldest me thou didst hold him in thy hate, which means that you told me that you hate him. Him here, it refers to whom? It refers, okay, to
Othello.
all right, to Othello. Okay, thou toldest me that you hate him. So Iago, now he is not using a kind of a fake appearance, but he is telling the truth about himself with Rodrigo. So he says, despise me if I do not, right? Which means that, okay, look down at me if I don't hate him. احتقرني إذا كنت يعني ما بكرهوش. Right? It means that I hate him a lot, right? And then he will explain what is the reason behind this hatred. So he says, the three great ones of the city in personal suit to make me his lieutenant, which means that if three great people in the city, noblemen in the city, all right, they went personally to him in order to make me his lieutenant, the second command, to hire me as his own lieutenant, of cap to him, that they went to him and talked to him, right, in order to make me his lieutenant. And by faith of man, and here he is actually swearing, right, that what? I know my price. Okay, it shows us how egoistic he is. He says that for God's sake, I know, all right, that I know my own worth. I know my own worth well enough. I know my price well enough. So he sees himself as if he is, all right, good enough to become the lieutenant. And I am worth no worse a place. And he says here, and I know I deserve that position. I deserve that position. So, well, he is now reflecting two things in his own character. His natural hatred, right, to Othello, and his egoism. So sometimes we might not call him Iago, we call him what? What? Iago and the ego, right? If we want, he is egoistic. I mean, looks down at everyone. And it seems that Shakespeare was really, right, yani well aware of his nature. And this is why he called him Iago, because it reflects the kind of egoism that he feels. So he says, I know my price. I am worth, all right, no worse a place, which means that I know how worthy enough I am, and I deserve that position. I deserve that position. But he, right, referring to Othello, okay, like as loving his own pride and purpose because of his love to his pride, because of his pride, okay, and because of his own purposes, evades them. Evades them, that means that he fools them, right? He doesn't listen to them. He doesn't listen to them with bombast circumstance, with okay, something we can say it is a kind of words which are actually bombastic. They are good words, good looking words, right? Good sound, they words which have good sound, right? And horribly stuff with epithets of war. But at the same time, he also gives them some reasons related to the war, right? So horrible stuff, some horrible words related to the war and the need of the war and things like that. Well, and in conclusion, and how did it end, right? The conversation between him and the three men in order to make that, right? None suit my mediators, right? He rejected, okay, my middlemen. He rejected what they wanted to say, right? For Cretes, say he, I have already chose my officer, and he says that, okay, for God's sake, I have already chosen or selected my lieutenant. And who is that lieutenant? It is, right, Cassio. It is Cassio, and this is why, right, he has hatred also to Cassio. All right, we will see how he is, how he looks at Cassio, how he looks at Cassio, right? So I have already chose my officer. I already selected my lieutenant. And what was he? ومين هو? What is that? Forsooth, a great or arithmetician. Okay, someone who knows about numbers more than someone who knows about war, right? One Michael Cassio. So he chose Michael Cassio, who knows about numbers more than knowing, okay, about war. A Florentine, someone from Florence, okay, a fellow almost damned in a fair wife. Now look at how he looks right also down upon Cassio. What does he say? He says that this man, this fellow, has a beautiful wife, but his fair wife is his own curse, that he is almost damned. He is damned by, which means that he has a beautiful wife that he cannot control, that she controls him. Although she is a beautiful wife, but she is actually his own curse, which means that he has a weak character and he cannot control his own wife. This is another way how he looks at Cassio. What did he say? He said about Cassio that he is a soft person from Florence. He knows about numbers, calculations, more than he knows about war. And he is damned, right, by his own fair wife. يعني محكوم زي ما احنا بنسميه. That his beautiful wife, okay, is his own curse. That never set a squadron in the field. عمره ما عمل حاجة okay أو أثبت شجاعته في المجال الحرب. He has no knowledge, no squadron, no knowledge, right? In what? In the field. What field? The field of war, right? He got no at all in the field of war, nor the division of the battle news. وبيعرفش عن الحروب أي شيء. He doesn't know anything about battles more than a spinter. يعني ما بيعرفش أكتر ما بتعرف مراعي. Right? Spinster. The spinster is the old woman. Okay? So even an old woman knows more than him about war, unless the book is theoric, which means that unless we count that he is good in reading books. So now, okay, to sum up, how does Iago look at Cassio? That he is a good reader, but he is soft. An old woman, a spinster, right, can know about the battle more than him. He has never done anything heroic in the field. He has a beautiful wife, but his beautiful wife is controlling him. Okay, he is soft from Florence, and he knows about what? He knows about numbers more than knowing about what? About war. This is his attitude towards Cassio. What is his attitude towards what? Towards the Othello. Othello, he hates Othello. And he tells, all right, Rodrigo, despise me if I don't hate him. Okay? And what is his attitude towards himself? He says, I know my price. I know my price. And I am worth no worse a place. And I know that I deserve that place well. So we can say that the major problem here is introduced to us. What is the major problem? Okay, that Othello wanted to hire a lieutenant, a second man, but okay, we find that he chose Cassio instead of choosing Iago. Iago hates both Othello and Cassio, and he looks down at them and he thinks himself much better than them. Egoism, right? Okay, وما إبليس إلا كبرياء وزهو في ربوع النفس يجري. As I told you before, this is why, okay, we say that he is the devil. He finds himself much better than others. Okay. So we will go to another quotation on the following page, Act 1, Scene 1, line 37, right? While they are still talking to each other, okay, Rodrigo and, and Iago. Okay, so Rodrigo tells him, I would not follow him then, if you feel so like this. You are not supposed to follow him. So Iago tells him, oh, sir, content you, calm down. ايش اللي بتحكيه يعني? come down. I follow him to serve my turn upon him. Right. So we know the truth about him now. What is that? I am serving under him to take advantage of him. I follow him. Why do I follow him? Right, to take advantage of him. I'm going to put him down. We cannot all be masters. Right? Not everyone can be more a master. Okay, that we cannot all be masters, and nor all masters cannot be truly followed. Okay, and okay, not all masters should be followed. Okay, then what does he say? He says, you shall mark, okay, many duteous and need. Duteous here, it means that, okay, a kind of what we call it, the devoted servant. Okay, and you have to need sometimes that you need to show humbleness, and you need in front of others a croaking knave, okay, and you need to a kind of a croaking knave. Knave here it refers as a servant, that doting on his own obsequious bondage, which means that, okay, look, that all the servants, they work for their own masters, all right, in order to what? In order to, they show their own slavery, a form of obsequious bondage. Why? Wears out his time for a period, much like the master's ass, as if they are the donkeys of their own masters, for no, but a provender, and okay, and provender is the food of the donkey, and they work like donkeys only for the food, and when he is old, right, cashier, okay, and when they get old, right, they are terminated. With me, such honest names. These honest names, these honest, okay, servants must be whipped, yani must be hit. Why? Because they are not serving themselves, but they are serving, okay, someone else, right? They are not working for themselves. They are working like donkeys. They are kneeling in front of their own masters, all right? And when they finish, they will what? They will, all right, they will be cashiered, they will be kicked out. Okay, some other, all right, servants, another type of servants. This is where Iago is going to be, right? He says, there are who trimmed on forms. Some servants who are look beautiful, their form is trimmed, and visage of duty, and they look good while they are doing their own duty, keep yet their hearts attending to themselves, but at the same time their heart and their own work only for themselves. And this is Iago. He seems that he is, okay, working for what? For Othello, but actually he is keeping his own heart attending to himself, and throwing but shows of service, and they are only showing from outside that they are serving their own lords, yet will thrive by them, and when they are lined their coats, right, and okay, when the time comes, okay, and they get enough money, or they get their own purpose, do themselves homage, that they will do something for themselves, right, not for any others. They are looking out for themselves by pretending to serve their own lords, right? And when they get rich, right, they would have saved enough, okay, from their own masters. Okay, he is going to talk about guys like this. These fellows have some soul. Guys like, right, they have a soul. They have a soul of themselves, right? And such one do I profess myself, and that's the kind of the guy I am. So he is what I am serving myself. For sir, it is as sure as you are Rodrigo, and exactly I am sure as I am sure that you are Rodrigo. Were I the more? If I were, okay, Othello, I wouldn't be Iago. Okay, what does he say? He says, let me tell you, as sure as I am that your name is Rodrigo, and if I were the Moor, Othello himself, I wouldn't want to be Iago. I wouldn't want to be Iago. Why? Because Iago is too much evil. Is too much evil. He has too much, okay, evil power. In following him, I follow but myself. حتى باختصار شديد في هذا ايش؟ In this line. In this line. اختصر كل شيء in this line. Okay? What is that? Okay. I may seem to love and obey him, but in fact, I am just serving him to get what I want. Right? In following him, I follow myself. But seeming so. Seeming so. And I like the word using seeming. Why? Because his seeming is completely different from his own being. I seem to follow him, but actually what I am doing, I am following myself. For my peculiar end, to serve my purposes. To serve, okay, I seem to follow him to serve my own purposes. These two lines, right, they sum up, okay, what he really wants. In following him, I follow but myself, but seeming so for my peculiar end, for my, okay, my purpose, for my purpose. Then he continues by saying, for when my outward action doth demonstrate the native act and okay, figure of my heart in complement extent, it is not longer after, but I will wear my heart upon my sleeve. And if my outward, my seeming action will show my intent of my heart, it would be much better to put my heart in my sleeve, on my hand, for the birds to eat, for the birds to eat, okay? For those to pick, for the birds to eat. I am not what I am. This is the final. I am not what I am. What does it mean? It means that what I seem is not completely what I am. What I look, the seeming and the being. This is the equivocative nature of Iago. Okay? I am not what I am. Right? If you want to ask you to translate it into Arabic, can you translate it into Arabic? Okay? In the same manner as good as it is written by William Shakespeare, I am not what I am. Right? Is there anyone who would like to try؟ اوكي الان كمان دقيقه راح يسكر